Welcome everybody to the New Fly Fisher. I'm your host Colin McEwen. In today's show we're going to be talking about streamer fishing. We're going to talk about tactics, techniques, and why big fish are so attracted to streamers. Next to nymph fishing, this is probably one of the most effective ways to catch big trout, big bass, big anything. Streamers are the way to go. It's going to be a great show. I know you're going to enjoy it. Stay with us. To consistently catch trophy trout in most systems, you have to use streamers because their principal source of nourishment comes from hunting, killing, and eating other fish. One of the main sources of prey for big trout in river systems throughout North America is sculpin. Sculpin are a rarely seen species that hide during the day and come out at night to feed. They seem to be much like chameleons because they readily change the coloration to match the local bottom, which is why brown, olive, and black are usually the best colors to use. Patterns such as zoo cougars, bushy woolly buggers, strip leeches, and kiwi muddlers are excellent because they resemble the silhouette of a sculpin. Big trout all require that three principal needs be met: shelter, food, and access to security, such as deep water. Based on this hierarchy of needs, we can break down a river into specific location categories.
Welcome everyone to the New Fly Fisher. In today's show, we're going to focus on nymph fishing, from rigging options to understanding water dynamics and the influence on your presentation. This show will really help you become a better nymph fisherman. Get ready to take notes. It's going to be a fascinating show. In today's show, we're focusing on one of the most critical techniques a fly fisher must master to be successful: nymphing. It is widely accepted that trout find 80 to 90% of their diet below the surface. Though some of that is eating bait fish and other species, the bulk of the food is invertebrates and other aquatic insects which they pick off in the feeding lanes. Before we discuss insect activity, we must understand where fish hold in order to feed. The anatomy of a stream is generally very straightforward. Fish will gravitate to those locations that provide the ideal security, water temperature, oxygen, and food. Trout hold in different parts of the stream based on the mechanics of moving water. They want to have all their basic survival requirements met with the least amount of energy expended. In most streams and rivers, the primary location for finding fish based on these needs are riffles, runs, pools, pocket water, and seams. There are a number of techniques related to rod position that will help you to properly present your nymph as well as detect strikes. Most people are familiar with the terminology high sticking, which is essentially the raising of your rod throughout the swing of the fly under the water. This helps lift the fly line off the water, thus minimizing drag on your fly.
Welcome everyone to the New Fly Fisher. In today's show, we're going to learn all about strike indicators. These useful tools are an incredible means for anglers to detect takes by fish. From fast-flowing rivers to still waters, strike indicators are one of your best tools for catching fish under differing conditions. Stay with us, this is going to be a fascinating show. Some anglers look down on the use of indicators, often referring to them as bobbers. They're missing out on using one of the most effective tools a fly fisher can have. It is sad that often fly fishers impose a set of handicaps that hinders their ability to catch fish in all conditions. Strike indicators are truly essential tools for competent anglers to have at their disposal. So what is a strike indicator? A strike indicator is considered anything that can be attached to the leader to let the angler know that the drift of a sunken fly has been intercepted by a feeding fish.
Now, as far as my rig, it's a rig that I fish almost everywhere. It's the 9.5 foot leader. It's the 2-fly rig with a split shot about 18 inches above it. And the indicator I almost always have up at the tip of the fly line. Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the New Fly Fisher. I'm Tom Rosenbauer, and in today's show we're going to talk about prospecting for trout. We're going to discuss and see where trout live, how they feed, what they need, how to read the water, how to pick a fly, and how to judge the richness of a trout stream. I hope you enjoy it. Stay with us. If you turn over a rock and take a look at it, and you find these big flat stoneflies and mayflies, but you can actually tell that without even having to turn over a rock. Just looking at the geology of the river, you see a lot of these big flat and round rocks, good-sized rocks. You know you're going to find stoneflies and caddisflies without even having to turn over a rock. If this were a river with really fine gravel and a lot of silt, most of the mayflies you find would be smaller and they'd be skinnier. They'd be more of the swimming type of mayfly.
You can use a variety of rods and reels to fish the Ausable. From 4 weights to 6, they're all adequate for the conditions and fish in the system. However, a 5-weight rod in a 9-foot length coupled with a large arbor reel is ideal. You can cast a dry fly, nymph, or even use a streamer. This rod can do it all.